Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining this afternoon for another one of ALLPLAN's live webinars. This one in particular is in regards to rebar management from fabrication to construction. Just to kind of give you a heads up of what this is all about. We'll get into a little further. This webinar is you'll find it might be geared mainly towards rebar detailers, but the overall concept is geared towards anyone who is using reinforcement at any stage of the game, whether you're an engineer or whether you're the tail end and you're a replacer in the field. We're going to kind of delve into what makes ALLPLAN a solution for rebar. So there'll be two of us on here today. My name is Dave Brewster, and my cohort here will be Frank Holtz, who is our senior technical consultant, who will actually be doing the demonstration of some of the tools that we have within our software. Just do a little bit of housekeeping to begin with. The webinar is going to be recorded. It will be available on our website. You just click on the little menu. Underneath the menu, there'll be recorded webinars. You'll be given notification when the recording will be ready. All attendees will be muted. We will not be able to hear anything on your end. There will be a spot to do any questions, and you can type your questions in the allocated area, and when we get to the question and answer period, we will see if we can answer your questions at that time. Again, my name is Dave Brewster. For those who are not familiar with myself, here's essentially my background. Rebar detailer by trade for 23 plus years. Have PT experience, a lot of software experience, and a lot of 3D experience. So I bring a little bit to the game here when it comes for advocating for different way of software solutions that need to go into the rebar world, especially. It's been the same for 30 plus years. Something's got to give, and we are the software to give. So hoping you can appreciate what we are showing you just as much as I like showing it. Frank here, who will be doing the demonstration. This is his background. He is our senior technical consultant with technical services. He is also our in-house guru when it comes to Python parts and programming. Has a master's degree in civil engineering and a vast experience on the precast side as well. So that's Mr. Frank. Current workflows and challenges. There's a disconnect right now between multiple software solutions when it comes to detailing or any side of that. What we're looking to do today is sort of quell that and prove to you that there does not have to be this disconnect. You should be able to have a single software solution that pulls all this information together and get it from there. This will also create that little silo workflow where you can be very inaccurate. If one software isn't keeping up with the next software, you could give someone the wrong information. It could give you the wrong information. Project management side of it, which is the whole idea of this, is going to show about managing releases, the data that's within, and then the site logistics of it all is if we have a single source of truth, we'll be able to better do site logistics as to any of the rebar information. So some of the key points to remember with our software, first and foremost, we are a software built for reinforcing and not a solution where reinforcing is an afterthought, and that's key. We've been in the game for 30 plus years when it comes to rebar. We didn't decide halfway through the game that, hey, maybe we'll add rebar to our package. We've been at the forefront of this, so we got it down pretty pat. So I believe we know what we're doing when it comes to this stuff. My big thing in the industry is 3D reinforcing. You always get the kickback where you approach a client, yeah, but we're not really being asked for 3D for projects. 3D reinforcing should not be mandated for a company to really reap the benefits of what the software, what that 3D rebar can bring to them. That information that 3D bar holds will and should make you as a company more productive. Whether you decide to put that 3D rebar out to the rest of the world, that is up to you. But the idea of the 3D rebar, and I've been pushing this for a lot of years, is look at it that is going to make you better internally. That'll make you more productive internally. That'll make you a better company internally. That's what we are driving here, and that's what we want to prove in this very quick demo that we're going to do for you today. Is, give you a little teaser as to the future of what the management of rebar looks like. One of the key things is we are a single source. We're project oriented. All our bar information is in one location. That allows you to have all this connectability, all this management capabilities from one solution. We allow you to do custom shape management. You can do it very easily, very effectively within our software. You don't have to go back to the software vendor in order to get something done. You don't have to do it in multiple places. We're going to allow you to do custom shape management within our software. Outward operability to multiple tagging systems, ASA, Soule, Excel spreadsheets. Some of the other some of the other ones that have been around a while, we can, definitely connect with them. Some of the advancements we are working on are what we call the inward operability, bringing information back in from the fabrication softwares in order to bring up the latest status of the bar without having to, make calls and chase down Excel spreadsheets and so on. Currently we have the Soule and Excel coming back into, we can follow the exact information of that bar all the way along the process, from the time it's detailed to the time it's actually placed in the concrete. And one of our other huge open factors here is our open API capability, whether it's within ALLPLAN or in BIM Plus. We give you, if we have that information inside of our systems, we give you all the opportunity to connect however you want to connect. And that is going to be key. So what we're going to do here is, Frank is going to now take over here. We're going to give you a quick 18-20 minute demonstration on a few of our tools that you're going to encounter in our software, and give you a glimpse as to how we can use this software to better manage the rebar and from the get-go. At the end of the demonstration, we'll come back and we'll touch back on some of those points to see if we've accomplished what we set out to do in this demonstration here. So at this point here, we're going to give it away to Frank.
Recording. Thank you, Dave, for that introduction. Hello, everyone. So as we've seen before in a previous webinar, we've gone and modeled and added all the reinforcement to this structure that we've looked at in the previous webinar. Now we're going to go ahead and add some release information, export it using some of our newer tools, and look at our shape manager as well. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and launch our release manager. This is, there's no releases in here, so we're going to first go ahead and add some. We've already previously added a bid item, and to add releases, it's simple as entering the release number and the description, and adding these to your release schedule. On the bottom bars, I'll do on the top bars is 222. And finally, 333 will be my dowel bars. Once I close that, we can see all of them added to my release schedule here. Now I can click on any one of these releases and add those to my, add the bars in my model to my release. So I'll select those. It will hide them, indicating that they've been added. Bring right back up our release manager. Now I can do it for bars 222. You can see that it's already added the total weight there for us. Now for my bottom bars, it's added those, total weight. If we click on it, we can see the individual bars, some other information that we can append to it as well. Finally, I'll do it for my 333, my dowel bars. And once we've done that, all of our bars have been assigned to a release. We're first going to create a quick schedule to see that it's in fact added that information, those attributes to that bar. So when we create one of our default schedules in ALLPLAN, we can see that it has the release number, the release information, just as we assigned it. inside of our release manager. Now going back to our release manager, say we want to decrease the total weight of one of our releases. So I can go here to my release 222 for my top bars, which is a bit heavy. I'm going to shift click, select my first 4 bars here. We can see that it's giving me the total weight of these bars as I select them. So if I select another one, it will increase the weight there. So now I can do change release and select from the list any release that's not yet been listed or been released actually yet. So only things that are in detailed mode. So I'll go ahead and send those to release 333. So it's going to update the attribute data of the bars, reread that information from the model, and now we can see that our total weight has ticked up on our 333 and ticked down on our 222, our top bars there. And when I close that and refresh ALLPLAN, we can see that in fact it has updated that attribute data, and our legend, which reads that attribute data, has updated as well. All right, so now that we have attribute information assigned to our bars, we're ready to go ahead and export this in a variety of ways. Of course, we can send it directly to a vending machine, but this is about management, so we're going to send it first to ASA. So when I hit export here, you can see it's pulling information from the model, it's pulling information from the project. All I really need to do is enter my initials here and then create a file on disk. So I'm going to create this as a TEK file named 111. So I've saved that. Now I'll do the same thing for Soule. So I'm going to export Soule again here. All I need to do is put my initials in, change some options if I want.
I'm going to interject here very quick, Frank, before you send that out. So the way our system works here is it's going to look at each drawing file to look for what drawing files are on there. So I'm just going to have Frank change to a different drawing file just so you can see how the actual physicality of this works.
Right. So here we can see it's actually pulling up those 333 bars. Thank you, David, for that. So I'll go ahead and export these now as an XML file for Soule. And then notice if I click this again, it's actually going to scan that and see that we've already released. So they've been assigned a status of release to Soule. So ALLPLAN is intelligent enough not to accidentally release those bars again unintentionally.
So the way we have it set up here is we've given the ability here to not release something again. We're making it difficult, like with any software program that it comes to detailing, is we don't want the easeability of actually releasing something twice. So as soon as you release something to one of those systems, ASA or Soule, and again, we can do an Excel spreadsheet, etc., we basically change the status of that bar to a listed bar. Therefore, we cannot send out again unless you physically change the status of that bar. So what Frank has done is showed you that, hey, we've already released all the releases on this particular drawing file. There's nothing else. If bars have not even been assigned a release, they will not be released as well. You need to physically have a release ID on a bar in order to send it out to Fabrication. So
right,
one of the other, sorry, yeah, Frank, you go ahead. I'll start as soon as you show your files there. Sorry.
No problem. So we can see here the ASA export, very simple. The standard file that they have, the Soule file, it's an XML file, comes out with a lot more information as we can see, but these are the standard file formats of those programs ready to be sent over to there. All right, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I was just going to say with that, if you want to open up the XLS file, the Excel spreadsheet file as well while I'm talking. So one of the things is obviously there's 2 ways we can get the information data out to other ones. We can customize and work on, for example, Share 97. We can export to an Excel spreadsheet, which a lot of configurations will allow you to map to an Excel spreadsheet. So these are obviously 2 of the examples we can export to. So one of the things here is he brought up the Excel spreadsheet, which shows you we're collecting the data. One of the things we've really geared towards is part of the whole idea I talked about at the beginning of the webinar here is the management of the actual bar itself. Is a detailer must have a tool in front of him that's going to allow for him to be proactive in having the latest information about any releases, any bar in front of him. The current situation, you have to go from your detailing to your software, to your Excel spreadsheet software, to your fabrication software, pick up the phone, find out where that latest bar is, where that latest release is. A process which could take, just to find out the information bar, it could take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. So it's always been my vision to you should have a software that it's a single tool. That detailer should have that tool in front of him. So while I was talking, what Frank did is he mimicked the situation where, for example, Soule will export an XML file of the latest status of the bar. It gets dropped in a particular location. And what we're going to do is we're going to relaunch the release manager, and it's going to look for the latest information about that bar status. So what you see in front of you here now is it's actually tracked release 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, which are just false releases, but it's actually tracked the latest status of those particular releases. So this tool that's in front of you now is a tool that a detailer will have. It will save them countless hours in a week of actually managing the bar and having that latest information. So he gets a call, he should be able to answer that call within seconds. Wait, let me see where it's at. It says here, wait, yeah, it was fabricated, or that particular bar may have not been fabricated, or it's sitting on a shop floor. Instantaneous information that he's going to have available to them. And Frank, you can talk about the Excel spreadsheet here now and talk about the tabs on the bottom there.
Right. Not only did we bring in that information back from Soule, and it was showing live in our release manager, but also this Excel spreadsheet that we looked at earlier is updated as well. If you have another software that can do post-processing, take this information, or you can even add information directly this way as well. So there's lots of ways, not only through the interface, but through these various tables, we're going to see more in a minute, to interact with this data. So you're not just constrained to the way we make you do it inside the interface. You can also go in there and make bulk changes in a number of ways right through Excel and other various methods. All right, so I think we talked enough about release management. Now we're going to look at shape management. So here we're going to open up our shape manager. And in ALLPLAN, we don't force you to select a shape from a library. We do offer many common shapes that automatically expand and adapt to the shape of the concrete. But sometimes you just want to draw any kind of bar. A lot of times you just want to draw the bar and then have ALLPLAN detect exactly which bar it is. And so that's what this is meant to do. You can draw some basic shapes inside of here. You can create a series of rules about whether it has hooks, different types of segment rules we'll see in a minute, and then it will actually go ahead and create the individual bar labels, length labels for you in real time. So as I go through these, you can see that all of these will be detected automatically by ALLPLAN, be given this shape code if it follows these rules, and it will create the labels automatically, the A, B, C, H1, H2 dimensions. All right, so let's see what it takes to create a new shape. So I'm just going to come here, create a new shape, and I'm just really going to basically draw it with my mouse. Notice that I can hold shift and it will lock it flat for me. And then if I do it at an angle or any kind of weird angle, notice that it's automatically labeling each of my dimensions there for me. When I have an angled part of the bar, it's actually going to do my H and K dimensions automatically for me. At this point, I can change any of the label designations. I can set rules about maximum, minimum angles or rounding if it's critical dimension. I can add hooks, just like in ALLPLAN, checking a box at the start or the end. I can change the direction, the angle, what have you, choose a label designation. And prep as well. We can do threads, couplers, button heads, all the typical things that you need to place on there. If you want to do out-of-plane bars, absolutely, we can support you there as well. You can choose whether that final segment goes in or out, and then also, of course, choose what label it should have there.
So just one of the things I want to point out here, sorry, Frank is going to interject really quickly. One of the things that is unique to our software is that if you do add an mprep like Frank showed you, and your shape code has an mprep on it, whether it be a thread, coupler, or button head, when you draw that shape inside of our software and you add a thread or a coupler, our software will recognize that you have physically added that, and it will do the match shape accordingly. So it's a very unique situation, and it's very powerful. So I just wanted to point that out a little further there.
Thank you, Dave. All right, the last thing we're going to look at in the shape creation is the rules. So I can set a series of rules. One of the most common ones we're familiar with is maybe the out to out width here. And so I can just say I want the out to out width to be O and save that. And now it's going to say take the whole width, add up all these horizontal lengths, and then give me that as my O dimension. Another thing you may want to do is look for parallel segments. Make sure that say perhaps the C and this F are parallel. So I just say C plus F equal parallel segments. And now we'll only make this bar shape if in fact C and F share the same angle there. All right, so once I've completed my bar shape and all my rules and got all my designations correct, all I have to do is hit save, give it a name, and now ALLPLAN will recognize anytime I've drawn a shape or any shapes that I have drawn. Once I hit refresh on the schedule, it will show that shape code accordingly for me.
So with this particular shape management, I'm sorry, Frank, I'm just going to interject again quickly here. So with this, think about the time savings that this creates. We right now with many softwares, I mean, sometimes you got to go back to the vendor in order to get a user shape added. Sometimes you might just have a project specific shape. Sometimes you might call a shape differently in one project than another. Some company may call, shape T2, especially with the new standards, CRSI standards. Shape T1 is now a 201, or it's a 101 or a 301. One here, we'll be able to very quickly rename that, and you don't have to change anything. You don't have to go back to the vendor. We allow you to do that. So if you have a custom library of 40 to 50 shapes, you could theoretically spend an hour and probably knock off 50 of your custom shapes and have them all ready to go for ALLPLAN. As Frank mentioned, our software is recognizing shapes as you draw them. So you basically pick on your edges of concrete. If you're familiar with our software, as Frank alluded to, we have already modeled this already. Go back and look at other webinars. Some of the productivity gains you get just from even modeling the concrete in the rebar is tenfold. But just allowing you to just draw your shapes to the extent of your concrete and let the software tell you what shape you just drew, fantastic. I mean, that to me is golden when it comes to this. There's some of that aspects of the surprise factor with the bar is taken out. So with the particular shape manager, what we're allowing you to do is very quickly add it. One of the aspects what we're going to be expanding on this. So this particular one here right now, this is for ALLPLAN to recognize. We will be taking this and we're going to save you a step of actually, if you have your ASA or Soule, is taking the shape and then exporting a file that you can bring into ASA, not have to re-put in the information in ASA in order for it to recognize. So we're developing on top of this already. So going to be some really key features coming out of this going forward. Again, Frank, I apologize for cutting you off. You go ahead and take over again.
All right. Now we're done looking at internal ALLPLAN stuff. We're going to look at some things external ALLPLAN. There's still offerings of ALLPLAN, but these are more for collaboration. This is great for sharing with your customers. And actually, before I go over to that, I just want to show on our Teamwork tab, we have this button here, Upload Model to BIM Plus. And what this is going to do is take all of your 3D model, all of its attributes, and send it to the cloud on our collaboration platform we call BIM Plus. It's actually a great open API library with many implementations. The first one we're going to look at is this web implementation here. So you can see it pulls everything over. We have all of our objects. They've been made discrete, so we can individually go in and look at them and assign different values and transparencies to inspect them. We can click on any of these objects and get the information about that object. All right. And then this also does a number of things besides the stuff we're going to look at. It allows you to do tasking. You can do collision detection. You can create slideshows to share with your customer, because they can log right in here and look at this with read, write, whatever kind of privileges you want to assign. You can do sections that are made up of one or two surfaces here. You can do isolations, measure things right on screen. So this is actually quite a full-featured part of ALLPLAN that helps not only with reinforcement, but many aspects of just being inside the BIM environment. All right, so one thing I really like here is our filters. So I can filter by any of the attribute data. It looks for all the attributes that I've been assigned in here. So I can filter by status, I can filter by bar size. In this case, I can filter by release ID. So if I apply that, we'll see that it'll take all of my morass of data and organize it into specific categories. So it finds all of our generic objects, right? Those don't have a release number, they're not bars. Down here, we have our release bars. And you can see as I check this on and off, it's going to highlight them for us. We can dig down into each of our different bar positions that we may have. So you can see when I highlight it, it's going to show me a nice little preview. All of the automatically calculated enter information, as well as our release information is available in here. You can edit this directly as well and send it right back to the model if you want. But like I said, if it was a customer and they only had read permission, they would just be in here looking at it and doing nothing more. All right, so now we're going to look at another implementation. Like I said, it's not just what we have in our browser, it's also other implementations. Here is one that we've created inside of Excel. So I'm going to go in, I've logged in already. I'm going to select our project here that we just looked at in the BIM Explorer. We do have a BIM Explorer implementation right inside of Excel, which is great. We're going to see some great uses for that in a second. First though, I'm going to import all of my objects. So I just select which objects I want here, my reinforcing bars. And it's going to get every object, put it in here as a row, and every attribute is going to be represented in the various columns that we have for each of the different objects. And this is another place where I can go in and do bulk editing, even if I don't own ALLPLAN. I don't have a license or it installed on my machine. I'm able to go through and start making bulk changes in here. So if I want to say change this to be release 444, all I have to do is enter that value, click this button, and it will push it right back to the cloud, and it's ready to be pulled down in any other application that's reviewing this. And another great thing about this live link inside of Excel is that this BIM Explorer is actually live linked back to the model. So as I click objects in here, I'm able to see them visualized right inside of my model, inside of the BIM Explorer. So in this case, for this first set of bars that we looked at, if I go in here, we can see that change that I made. It was 111, now it's 444, just immediately pushed from the Excel spreadsheet. And like I said, any changes that you make are going to be immediately reflected as soon as you hit that save key for you. All right, and with that, I think that includes the technical portion of our webinar. I'll pass it back over to you, Dave.
Thanks, Frank. And while you're still here, so just some of the key things just to quick remember with the BIM Plus, especially with this side of it, it is an open API technology. So it will allow, if you have a programmer on board, you can use the API technology to create your own special links. Let's say you want to link it to an ERP system, you want to link special data, you want to create tools that will do this information. So not only the Excel spreadsheet side, you can generate your own tools, your own linkage to whatever it is you need to do. So we don't close down on our technology. That's the key for ALLPLAN, be it the actual ALLPLAN software itself or the BIM Plus side of it. We leave it available to you. So Frank, I do thank you for that presentation. I'm going to go on with a little spiel here and kind of wrap things up, and then if there's nothing else, Frank, I think you covered everything I needed. I do appreciate that, and I will take it from here.
All right, I'll pass it over to you. Thank you.
Okay, so today's is just meant to be a short and sweet. Be in the middle of construction season, being all that. What we're trying to do is entice you to the fact that if we really spent the time, you'd be seeing. We spend 4, 5, 6, 12, 14, 22 hours just showing the capabilities of all this. we just want to show you we have the ability to take this to the next level when it comes to the management portion of the rebar. You know, I try and push. I'm not in the industry to push you a new detailing software as a new detailing software. My philosophy is I wanted to push a new detailing software that's a detailing management software as well. And this is what ALLPLAN will allow you to have. So we're going to cover basically, if you're not familiar with ALLPLAN, if this is some of you are new to ALLPLAN or have never heard of it before, we have been in the industry for 30 plus years. We are a solution for rebar, and that's just said our software was designed for rebar, not rebar added to our software. You know, that's what separates us from our competition. Is we've made it our life's ambition to make rebar a part of our software. As I said, we're founders of OpenBIM. OpenBIM is key to a lot of people being able to tie into our system. And there's just some numbers to kind of reiterate the fact that we are, you know, we're not new to this industry. We've been around a while. So that's the number. Just want to come back to the BIM Plus side of it. And, you know, with everything being cloud-based these days, BIM Plus is sort of our piece de resistance on top of ALLPLAN as well. Having that cloud capabilities, you know, having the ability to share this information, not from only within, but from external, and from one click of the button within our software, you're gonna have the capabilities going up to the BIM Plus. So we're really pushing on the BIM Plus side of it and pushing on people, develop your own tools that really use the power of this. And that's what we also want to get out there. Full collaboration across the whole spectrum. You know, especially on bigger projects, you can have your site guys, you know, coming back to the construction site, your site guys could have an iPad on there, and they could very quickly view the model and view right down to the bar mark, right down to the release on what bars they have and where they go. Just, you know, very visual. That's what BIM Plus offers. And when you purchase a seat of ALLPLAN, BIM Plus Professional is included in that, which includes the Excel spreadsheet, includes the project management links to it. So that's all included. It's not an extra cost for that. We have a free version of BIM Plus, which is for the guys on the site, but we do have a version that comes with the purchase of our software. So I'm just going to bring up these key points to remember from the beginning, just so that they're visible to you. And then we'll get to the questions and answers here. So the whole idea here is we want to open people's minds to the whole thing. We've proven in past webinars, we've proven in demonstrations that we can enhance your productivity from the gains of the rebar side. Okay, if you're not familiar with that side of it, we'd love to set up a demonstration and prove to you that, you know, putting rebar into our software, even on that respect, is more productive. Where you're going to gain your productivity, if you think about it, let's just put some numbers to this. Okay, if you're spending 5-10 minutes every time you get a phone call, let's say you're spending an hour a day managing your rebar, for which you do not get paid for. A company does not get paid to manage their rebar. You're spending an hour a day, 5 hours a week per detailer, average of 20 hours a week. There's $100 a detailer. You multiply that across the board, you know, it's $5,200 a year for a detailer. Multiply that by 10 detailers, $50,000 a year. You're actually saving just by having a software that's going to allow you to look at your bar from a single source. If I had to guesstimate, that hour a day, 5 hours a week is on the extreme low side for actually doing something with that bar, whether it's trying to track down change orders, track down missing bar, you know, getting releases, assigning proper bars to releases, doing all that information. You know, it could be vastly, I mean, we could be talking 10, 15 hours a week. So what we're proving to the industry is we have a solution here that is going to make you more productive from that side of it. So I'm hoping that we tweak your interest, you know, to the point of, oh, maybe there is a better solution for me to do that, and then get the conversation started. Get us involved here. Get us come in and get a demo. Let us prove to you from that standpoint that, hey, we are a force to be reckoned with when it comes to software. So I do have some questions here. We'll try and answer them as we can. One of them is, can we do a standee shape? Yes, I mean, we do have the ability to, within our Rebar Shape Manager, we can create 3D shapes. We do, Frank showed you very quickly, we can do in-outs, which will produce the 3D shape. So as soon as you define it within that, that Shape Manager, you give it a name, that name, ALLPLAN will then recognize it. If it has the exact same shape as what's in your shape library, it will create that. So we do have the ability to create these standees. Any shape, really, whether it's a standee or whatever you call it, we have the ability to create any custom shape that's required. Can we bring back bar information from the shop if it requires a mistake? So as it stands right now, from that particular tool, we're actually developing a tool that sits on top of that tool because we need to track that bar change. We do have a way to do it. It's very easy. We basically just change the status of the bar and it comes in. But what we are working on is we're working on a way to track all the changes that were ever made. So right now, there's two things you can do to track changes. So there's a little side note on why we'd want to bring something back. To track changes is when you export your file to BIM Plus, it always keeps the latest revision. So you can actually do a revision comparison from every time you bring in that file. So you'll very quickly see that if you change the bar from number 5 to number 6, we can track that within BIM Plus. So as part of our next phase of our Rebar management software is we're going to have that tool built in. So if you want to return something back from fabrication, as long as that bar has not been, if it's been, let's say, fabricated, then it requires a different tracking than if it's only been listed. It means it has not been bent. So we're working on the technology to determine what kind of way are you bringing it back. So to answer the question is, we can do it very simplistically right now, but we're developing a solution that will better track what the changes need to be. So I hope I've answered that one for you. Just another question came up here. How do you track Rebar if you're using ASA? Currently, as I said, we do have inward operability between Soule and Excel. One of the systems we can go out to ASA. One of the systems we're trying to, we're trying to work with ASA is to have the same functionality with the ASA solution that if they can export the status of the bar, then we'll be able to import it into ours. So as it stands right now, we are a one-way solution to ASA. We can get all the bars to that point. You can go into your current ASA software and you can track the bar inside of there. But coming back in, we don't have that linkage as of yet. Hope I answered that question enough that that it satisfies you. Do we have any more questions pop up here? I'm just scrolling down, making sure I've got everyone answered. Is there any more questions at this time? Okay, so I've answered the questions on there. If there are any questions after this, like I said, it's going to be recorded. Feel free to reach out to me, or we'll go to the next couple of slides here just so you can see. One of the things, I do ask, so if we tweak your interest and you're currently an ALLPLAN user, please go to our website. Go to ALLPLAN.com. Make sure you're on the USA page and request a personal demo. This will actually flag it in our system saying, hey, I want to follow up. I want to look more into, how do you take that even further? We touch the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this. One of the other things you'll notice on there is we are currently in version 2021. We do have 2022 coming out in October, and we do have a sneak peek video on there that I'd love you to check out to see some of the key features that we're working on for our next version. ALLPLAN's always developing, and it would be neat for our users to see what we've got coming up as a sneak peek. And we do, from now until October, we'll be offering, more and more videos on what's coming out in the next versions. If you do have any questions, concerns, or you want to reach out to me directly, you can email me at dbrewster@allplan.com. And you can request a demo there. You can request a follow-up phone call and reach out to me at that point. I apologize, I thought I had my cell phone number on here. We could reach out to me directly and call me on there, but do reach out to me via the email address there, and we will be sure to address your needs and any sort of demonstration follow-ups that we need to do. At this point, as I said, I wanted to make it a short and sweet, especially in the middle of summertime here. Tweak your interest. Hope we get some requests here for demonstrations to follow up and maybe delve a little deeper into some of the aspects of what we showed you today. With that, I wish you all a good afternoon, and we will talk to you all soon.